Hey everybody, welcome to my session When Data Processing Needs World Knowledge. My name is Chrissy LeMaire. I'm a Microsoft MVP and GitHub star. And recently I was working on a project with headlines and I needed to know if they overlapped. But I just can't do this with Regex. It's Beverly Hills simply doesn't match Los Angeles, and Los Angeles doesn't match the Beverly Hills famous zip code 90210. So we could see here that if we try this, it returns false, but what we need is true. And how would we do that? Traditionally, we would do it with a bunch of data sets, but I have to cover every headline in the world. That requires real world knowledge, which is where AI comes in. And the most exciting thing to me about AI is that it builds on skills that I already have, which is REST APIs and JSON. So I run my AI locally, which I don't know if you know, but you can. I use this application called Ollama. It's super cute. And I just ask it, this looks just like ChatGPT. And you can see here, I asked it the question and it returned this free text. But when I ask programmatically, I want it to be returned in just true or false, right? So I ask the question and then I'm going to send a schema to the API. And how do I know how to build this schema? I just ask ChatGPT and it lets me know. So here I have an answer. So I want the answer to be true or false. So I set it to the Boolean and then I make the API call. I set the model to be Llama 3.1. This strikes a good balance between accuracy, not perfection, but accuracy and speed. I send the message with the question, set the stream to false, and then the format, instead of free form format like we saw before, again, I want it to be just true false. Ship it off and then convert the JSON that's returned. And we could see here the question and the answer is true. And then I try that a bunch of times in a row, and Llama 3.1 is smart enough to repeatedly say yes. So another example is file name cleaning. And here I use messy MP3 files because it's so relatable, right? We all know that Queen has sung Bohemian Rhapsody, Madonna sang Material Girl, and so on. And so does the AI. So this requires real world context, and it's just impossible with regular expressions. So here we define the schema, and this time I just want the artist and the song, and then I send it a bit longer of a prompt. I give it examples because AI loves examples. This made it quite accurate. And because we're doing local processing, we need to go file by file. If you use AI in the cloud, something like OpenAI or Anthropic Claude, you could send all 10 at a time because it has a large enough context. But if you're using local LLMs, it's best to keep those questions as tiny as possible. So let's execute this. And what we'll see is that it's shipping it off, and then it's going to come back, and it should be one by one. Oh, but Python and notebooks, it processes it all at once. But here's what's important. It returned with this information. It knew that it was Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody. It knew that Madonna sang Material Girl and that the Eagles sang Hotel California. I mean, this is so cool. You can see one mess up. Sometimes it returns John. Sometimes it just does Jay Lennon, but it always fixes the Beatle. It always knows that MJ is Michael Jackson and so on. So the next time that you need real world knowledge in the parsing of your data, you could try a local LLM, or if you need genuine intelligence, you could ship it out to the AI in the cloud. And if you use GitHub models, you have a whole bunch of calls that you can do actually for free. So you don't need a credit card or anything, which I find super cool. Hope that helps.